Well, good Garsh Almighty. Good morning, everybody. Both of you. It's an old funny joke. I'd like to thank both of my fans. It's a thing like that. So, have you been drinking coffee? So, yes, I figured as much. So, good morning. Still no chair, by the way, if you're curious. It's just not in the cards today. Paula Scholl, good morning. Still cold down there, man. Yesterday, it's been a brisk couple of days. Top of the morning. I like that one. Betty Carlson, good morning. By the way, Paula Scholl, first in line. I'm going to start doing something. That'll be something I'm going to do the top of the day. First one on the board. There'll be something fun. It just hit me. Betty Carlson, good morning. That's my aunt. Randy Carnes, good morning. Lisa Francis Clark, good morning. It's great to see you. Sue Francis, good morning. Let's see. Brian Fink, top of the morning to you. What is Fink? What's the genealogy of Fink? Is that British Isles? Is that Irish? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Do I have to say it? Like, I'm not schooled in such things. I don't have the scrolls of paper. I'm just not a scientist when it comes to those things. Yeah. I was waiting for it. I guess that would probably make sense. Paula Scholl, good morning. 33. Yeah, that's cold. I got to tell you, Central Ohio today, pretty brisk. We'll get there. So, I'm wearing a flannel. This is a nice one too. My mom got this for me. It's one of my Christmas presents. I'm not a Christmas present person, by the way. I don't like them. I don't like getting them anymore. I like to give. I'm totally cool with that. But I'm like, I already got. Well, I don't know if a flannel counts. Like, that's sort of borderline. If a flannel shirt counts as a banking shirt. It might be. Let's see. Tell them drinking tea this morning. Paula, good morning. Brian Fink, German. Steve Dietering. Steve, I got some fantastic news for you. Look what I found. Ha ha! The Sharkalele. See the shark fin? Yeah. Would have tuned it prior to pulling it out. Tiptoe through the tulips with me. Was that Tiny Tim? Does that sound right? Tiny Tim and tiptoeing through the tulips. That's not going to sit there. It's so little. I don't know where it's going to fit. Nope, not there either. I might have to put a hanger somewhere just for my ukulele. So, put it there. Stay. Let's see. What do we got here? Morning, Stephen. Okay, so Julie Stover, good morning. Second pot of coffee. I can tell you this hilarious that you say that because this is a brand new pot. Full. Many times during the show, I'm actually out of coffee. This is the truth. I'll tell you the truth, a little peek behind the scenes. Sometimes if I've been up super early or it's one of those coffee kind of days, or people drinking coffee in the house, you never know. I don't always have enough. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut it. I have a hot water dispenser, not like just hot water, like it comes out like a fountain on the sink edge. That is, it puts it out like 190, something like that. I've never actually tested the skin blistering. I've been very close. But I sometimes what I'll do is if there's just not enough for a full pot, I'll put some of that hot water in it, and it's like a diluted coffee. So I cut it a little bit. It's not like I'm not drinking it, but yesterday was a wash for me. I just couldn't get momentum. I didn't get any real work done. Just one of those days. Snow day, was just what it was. But today, turning that stuff around. Let's see. Second pot of coffee. So yeah, yes, Julie, my mom is pretty awesome. Just if you weren't sure, ask anybody that knows her, and a pretty large percentage of the people on this podcast know my mom. Eddie Ambras being one of them. Joyce Neergarter, good morning. Eddie Ambras, do you remember? So when I went to college, I skipped to the bottom. Casey, I think you're 100% correct. That and filling it with like what they call a coffee regular. I never knew that was a thing. When we talk about Saving Jane on the show, I'll tell you about my coffee regular experience. But Eddie, do you remember we had some kind of party at my mom and dad's house? I don't remember what it was. We didn't need many excuses for a party at that house at that point. So it was probably 91. I'm assuming that 88 AD had played a show probably closer to Pittsburgh, which East Brady was in betwixt, sort of. But my mom and dad had an awesome above ground pool, big deck. It was huge. It was like, it wasn't one of those kayak pools like Dave Bichard has. It was a big round one. And we'd get these whirlpools that were, pretty good. I'm not saying that we are the best whirlpooling pool around, but in Frogtown, not that Frogtown, the other Frogtown, that one, we were the best. I guarantee it. Well, anyways, but the thing that made my parents' swimming pool amazing, his dad had a draft system back, like kegerators, like everyone has different names for them, but had a draft system and that had a portable version of it that we would put in the back of the truck, and he would back the pickup truck right up to the edge of the pool, and you could be going around in your swimming pool, and you could literally, it was just right there, you could fill up your draft beer. And that is exactly what, and my mom would just like make this endless parade of cheeseburgers and whatever else that we wanted, but it was generally cheeseburger centric and maybe some type of salty chips of snacks of some kind. So let's see. Sorry, I got totally distracted on there. Brian Fink, it's a shirt. It's a bank shirt. It's a Lumberjack at the Lumberjack Federal Credit Union. There you go. That's talking. Dave Bichard, I was just talking about your kayak pool. Julia, on the same page, 100% double coffee. Jim Black, good morning, my friend. Casey Walton, yes. So Dunkin' Donuts. We were Saving Jane time. Let's talk about that. We were, check the box. Hey, I got 2 of my 3 done. That's not bad. I'm going to tell you right now, number 1 didn't get done. Snow day ruined all that. But we were, and I've tried to figure it out, and I can't figure out the town. But then we were in this New England tourist town after tourist season. We were on a tour, and it was like we could stay in like middle of nowhere, New England. I know it's coastal. I know that it was a coastal town, and we had played in Boston, and we were headed north. Maybe I want to say we were probably going to was it Portland, Maine? Is that right? Portland, Maine. I think that's it. But we stayed in this little tourist town. We're like, it'll be great. It's a beach town. Well, a beach town in, say, for example, let's say it was October. Actually, it was September. I remember now because we celebrated some birthdays. A beach town in September in, say, Myrtle Beach. Still a lot of fun. A beach town in September in Massachusetts, ain't much to do. Like they're like everything is like literally closed. So the only things that were open were like this lobster house, and a it wasn't Bangor. It was I'm pretty sure it was is Portland, Maine? Is that right? I don't have my atlas with me. So anyways, but it was a Dunkin' Donuts. So every day we were there for like, of course, it was one of those things like we got there on Sunday night. We didn't have to leave again until Wednesday or something like that. So it was a cheap stay. It was a resort town. We're like, it'll be fun. And it wasn't fun. It felt like we were Scooby-Doo gang, like possibly being murdered at any given moment. We actually, that was the beginning of like cell phone camera days. I forgot about this. So at that particular place in the hotel we were in, and then throughout town, we would take a picture of each other or whatever, like, and send it to the group chat and just be like asleep or dead. And it was because it seemed like that's the kind of place where you could end up murdered. So anyways, I went to this Dunkin' Donuts every single day, which was always good for you. And the first time I was there, like just like a medium coffee. They're like regular, and I'm like, sure. Now, when I said regular, I was thinking small, regular, large. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know what, because that's the whole Starbucks with their sizing system. Like everybody had a thing. And I'm like, well, maybe Dunkin's thing is regular, is medium. And I do like a medium coffee. That's really, really what I prefer. And I had this coffee regular. And I don't know if you've ever had a coffee regular. And this is, I mean, I wasn't a kid. I was in my 30s. I'd never heard of such lunacy. Coffee regular. But a coffee regular is rocket fuel. It's like, especially at Dunkin' Donut, but it's like double sugar, double cream, and coffee. And it is like drinking a candy bar. And it is awesome. Unless you weren't expecting it. I wasn't quite ready for it. The first sip, I was like, what is this? And then like immediately the crack addiction of like, ooh, this is fantastic. So I ended up drinking. And I had coffee regulars. To this day, it's still my favorite. If I'm going to go to a Dunkin', rather than a donut, I'll actually, and you know me and donuts, coffee regular, I treat it like a donut. So there you go. Dunkin' Donut. You know what, Lisa, you're 100% correct. Our parents did whatever it took for us to enjoy our days. They all top notch. Check the good parent. The times of like, so Lisa and I grew up together. We're cousins, and when they weren't at our house, we were at their house. We both had pools, and you just all summer long, just whirlpooling. We're in the pool. It was good times. At least I have a unbelievably crystal clear picture of your dad, Bud, my uncle. We're in the pool. He's yelling at us for something because I'm sure we deserved it. And he would like sprinkling chlorine into the pool like you would do it if you were like feeding birds, like just like it's a warm memory. I'm not describing it very well, but I just remember it so clear. And he was a good guy. I miss him. Yeah, Curtis, times were simpler back then. You're 100% right. In the draft beer and the pool days, if that's what you're talking about, I think I'm behind on the conversation. So sorry about it. Let's see. Let me try to catch up. Good morning, Dave. Dave, your pool, by the way, is gorgeous. Dave and I went and Dave's a genius. Just Dave Bichard is what's known as a genius. You give him some stuff, some time, he makes it into art. That's it. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's a car. I don't care if it's an old swimming pool. I don't care if it's whatever. I'm going to give you a guitar one of these days. I'm going to actually be like, dear Dave, make it into something, or just give you the guitar body. You don't need the rest of it, but paint it up or make it into something cool. I need to do that. Banger made PPP mug. Fantastic. I guess there's some news going on with Christine's store, and I don't know it. I'm not up to date, but I think there's going to be a new location or something. So I haven't really pushed mugs. We'll get there. Banger man. Karen Buzzard. Yep. Exactly. Perfect size. So Steve is a well-traveled man. I'm just going to say that Steve Dietering has seen the world through a windshield. That's we when we sit down to talk, we have a lot to talk about. James, I'm not giving you a guitar. You're better looking, younger, and you play better than me. I'm not helping. Like, which one would you want? Maybe we can work a deal. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. I'm not giving you it. You know what? No. I love them all. None of these are a collection. These are all guitars I play on a very, very regular basis. Except that one. I don't play the red one very often. It's temperamental. is the best way to put it. Like not all guitars are not even equal or the same. Far from it. I know it doesn't seem like that sounds like guitar player talk. Like, no, this one's completely different. This one's just like to a non-guitar person, these just look like I just got them all in different colors. It's a Baskin Robbins, and that's not the case. They all have different personalities and styles. I'm still the same old guitar player, so it's like putting a myriad of toppings on the same piece of white bread. That's pretty much my guitar playing styles and my guitars in a nutshell. So, oh man, I forgot about the bike, the clunker. Yeah. Well, if we need to rebuild it, Dave, cut it apart. We'll do something different with it. It's all good. Just like hammers, Steve. That's exactly correct. I do not name my guitars. I appreciate people that do. I don't name. I'm not like this one's blah blah blah. I usually call them by their model or their brand. Like if it's so in this case, like the red one there, that's a Gretsch. And the one beside it is a Fender. I call that one the Gretsch. Why? Because I only have one Gretsch. I call this one the Old Telly because I have several Fenders, and this is and I could call it the Telly, but I'm planning on getting another one. Don't tell anybody, specifically HR. That's the Artcore. They do have names for me. That's another Fender. That's called the Reverend because that's the only Reverend I have. That's the Les Paul, That's it. Yeah. So I don't name them, and I don't know if a lot. Like I could totally name one. So like for example, like that one's called the Malibu because that's the model. I rarely call them by the brand. Actually, no, that's not the case. It's 50-50. But no, I don't call any of my instruments not called like Doug or Brenda or anything like that. This one would be the closest one. This one was the old Workbook Studio guitar, made famous by John Chin and Neil Schmidt and Workbook Studio, originally on Norwich, and then it's Gretsch. It's what I always get it wrong. All right, buddy. I want an H&H Telly is what I'm looking at, either in Seafoam Green or Tide Pool. So, not that I've been shopping for them or anything like that and sending them out to my friends, being like, ooh, what do you think of this one? Ooh, what do you think of this one? Ooh, what do you think of this one? I could buy a new guitar every day. But all of these have different feels and sounds. The H&H guitar that I just mentioned, it would be a combination. It'd be like if... Let me see if I can figure this out. If that one and that one were merged together, it would have that kind of thing. It's the truth. And then you were like, I should buy that. I was furious. Don't you buy that? It does actually, Steve. And the better the model of an acoustic guitar, the more it would have an effect. Like this guitar, this is a mid '80s Californian, might even be earlier. This was never an inexpensive guitar. This is a total sentimental guitar for me. I have it open tuned 5-string G, a la Keith Richards. It's a great guitar to gather some inspiration from. It's easy to play. But it's precious to me. Like I love this guitar, just because of like when the Workbook Studio. I'll fill it in when we were learning how to be a band, and I was learning how to work in a studio. There's two guys that owned a small studio here in Columbus, Ohio, John Chin and Neil Schmidt, and although the same age as me, I might even be older than those guys. They mentored me and mentored us as a band and kind of brought us up to speed on what it takes. Like we maybe had skill, but we had no discipline. Randy calls his drums drums. But this guitar was in all of the studios, and yes, John Chin and Neil Schmidt both. If there's ever two guys that I can think of that should have, like Mythbusters sort of a thing. So Jay Mundock just said John Chin is his hero, and John Chin, man, that guy, there's nothing he can't do, and cleverly. Like, he's not only just super skilled, it's the delivery. Like, his everything is perfect about him. His band is called Manager. They're out of Brooklyn. I think it's Texar Cobra is the record label. It's awesome. I have been following them for a while. They're just fantastic. But John had this studio around, this guitar around the studio, and he'd be like, you know what? Instead of what you're doing, maybe you should do something not as predictable. Like, John and Neil both were very like, let's just call this what it is and move forward. Maybe you should do something less predictable instead of going or whatever. Yeah, it's open and I don't have a thing. But then they would play it, and then you'd be like, oh, that's a great idea. Generally better than the idea that I had. So when they both were dissolving the studio and moving on with their career paths, I desperately wanted that. And I got it, and I've taken good care of it. And I still play it pretty regularly, to be honest. And it's called the Californian. Sometimes I just call it Workbook, but it's the Californian. So let's see. Collect coffee cups. Yes, that's true. Yeah, you know what? I've caught Bill a couple times. Really good, by the way. Let's see. It has some really old Martins and Fenders. Ooh, I need to get over there. So to answer the question about do stickers change the tone? So in what Dave Bashard just mentioned, Angel's Dad has some really old Martins, and specifically those Martins, the wood isn't like a tabletop. It itself is part of the sound. It's the filter of what makes it sound great. And when you put a sticker on it, it's almost like a deadener of sorts. Now, it's not quite as level as like putting a blanket over it, but it will definitely change the tone. This old Californian, which was never made, it wasn't even really made of wood per se. It was made of like basically sawdust with a picture of wood across the front of it. That's what this was made of. So a sticker doesn't really change the tone. Electrics are a completely different story. And I'm by no means an expert, and nor do I even have the scientific knowledge that it would take to understand, sonically speaking, what stickers do to the body. So, correct. I'm still not a scientist. Thank you very much. Mr. Bob Dewey just checked in, ladies and gentlemen. We missed Bob. Bob has been on the show, I think, since the beginning. He was the first guest we ever had. Bob Dewey, thanks for making it. Yeah, you're welcome, Steve. Yeah, you know what, Gretchen? I don't know. I was talking with my mom the other day. I don't know when I'll be home again. I don't know when I'll travel back. But I would love to figure out a way to see some folks or do the do some folks, and maybe. And I'd like to see Bill's great. So no problem, Steve. Glad I could help you out there. Bob Dewey said he's sorry he's late. And honestly, folks, it's Bob Dewey. We're just happy he's here. Let's just call it what it is. I've totally got the extra wide flannel shirt going on. And I think we should do another Bob Dewey's breakfast gig. We need Bob Dewey's sausage tips. Some days, Scott, some days you're pretty good. I should probably, no, here's the thing. I've had a lot of people telling me how good Scott is and what he's added to the show. And I need to remind people that I've been doing this show a long time without Scott. That's pretty. But so tomorrow, that was a setup. I like to test Scott to see if he's paying attention. Like when I say setup, I mean none of this stuff is scripted. Clearly, all right. This show is clearly unscripted, but I don't know if he's paying attention half the time or not. And so I'll do that kind of stuff just to see if he's paying attention. And yes, Curtis, that was fantastic, is what that was. But tomorrow, due to regular life and things getting away, I'll be flying solo tomorrow. So don't expect any of this high-end production. It'll probably be me and an iPhone again. You know what, Dave? I don't either. Like, it's like a weird memory of these shows. Dave said he doesn't remember any shows before Scott. And, you're probably correct. So, all right, guys, I've got work to do because yesterday I did nothing. Not really. Nothing that amounted to anything. It was infuriating. It was cold this morning. I will tell you this. Yes. So I'm going to try to get a chair today. I am going to try that. Truman, yeah, that's it, brother. I am on point tomorrow. Just me. It was cold this morning. I was super cold, actually. A lot of times I go out and start the truck before we leave to give it a little bit of warmness, and I was freezing, and I haven't warmed up since. I'm going to button this up because, yeah, Dave, you're not wrong. Tomorrow's show is going to be terrible. See, that doesn't feel like that works. There you go. If you got it, flaunt it. And I've got lower neck skin that is not too shabby, if I must say so myself. But it felt like it was 18 degrees this morning. I'm just going to call it. It felt cold, cold, cold. We can't see that, Scott. Feels like 10. Wow. Well, the actual temperature was 21. Ooh. Yeah, it was cold. 16 there. Darn. Dave says tomorrow's show is going to be terrible, and Dave, you are correct. But honestly, how good is the best show? Not really that good. So, Julie Stover, yeah, get to work. I should be telling that to me. Bob Dewey, 16 down there down in the valley. 27 degrees in southern Armstrong County. I'm going to guess that it's partly cloudy. And we're going to get the lead out. We're going to play a little Led Zeppelin this morning. So, everybody, thanks for joining in. Be prepared. Dave, I love you so much. Dave said I have the best lower neck skin he's ever seen. Grass doesn't grow on the playground. That's right, buddy. So, secret setting the bar low, Brian. That is exactly correct. That's totally what we're doing, Gretchen. It's sunny in southern Armstrong County, so enjoy the sunny day. It's going to get cold this weekend. I know here in Columbus, Ohio, they're saying 0, maybe sub-0. So if you haven't, don't put your wool socks away just yet. I love every darn one of you. Even you.